Hey guys, I'm Chris, I'm the O2 Guru in Coleraine, and I'm going to run you through a few tips, in fact, 5 tips, my 5 top tips on the OnePlus 5. See what I did there? It's very clever. But, first, I think I better change into something else because the OnePlus fans will never settle for what I'm wearing now. Never settle. Anyway. That's better. Never settle. Doesn't matter anyway. So let's get started. This here is the OnePlus 5, one of the most anticipated phones of 2017. The OnePlus 3T and OnePlus 3 were absolute killers last year. They nailed it, and with it being an exclusive product to O2, we were really excited to be stocking them, and extremely excited to be stocking this one here as well. Okay guys, so the first point I want to cover is the gestures, okay? So I call them the screen off gestures because that's when you're going to use them, when your screen is off. Now, some simple gestures that have come over from the 3T. Draw a circle, that's going to activate your camera. You can draw a V for a flashlight, for example. But what the OnePlus 5 has given us now is customizable gestures. So you're able to go into the settings. When you're in settings, you go down to gestures, and at that section there, you can actually assign individual letters. So there's an O, there's a V, there's an M, there's an S, there's a W, okay? And those gestures then allow you to actually customize and decide what you want to be sat there. So what I've done at the minute is I've gone into settings, and I went to the M, and I made M become a new calendar entry because I use my calendar quite a lot. So by drawing an M on the screen, I've got a new calendar entry. So for me, that's an absolute winner because it just makes multitasking, it makes getting to things quicker in the OnePlus 5 so much better, and I love that. Okay, so another favourite of mine is the alert slider. The alert slider was introduced with the 3 and the 3T, and it's back for the 5 as well. Okay, so the alert slider is a small button on the right hand side. It's textured, so that means that even in your pocket you could feel the alert slider and you could say, okay, I know that that's there. Down in the bottom position, it means that your phone is normal, it's ready to go, and sounds will come through if you get a call or a text. Stick it in the middle and you've set it on priority contacts. At that point then, only the people who you've set as favourites can actually get through to you, which is quite handy. And finally, if you go up the top and you set the alert slider up to the very top, then what you've got there is a silent mode. So you've told your phone, listen, I don't want to be interrupted whatsoever. You've got the phone in your pocket, you need to stick it on silent, you just slide it up to the top from the textured button, and you know that no one can get through to you. If you leave it on, however, it's okay, because in the settings, you can choose that alarms can still come through all the silent features as well, which means that there's no excuse for you not to get off of work. Damn. So the third one on my list then has got to be the Oxygen operating system. So it's an overlay of Android. So when we talk about Android, it's the system that most phones use. So Samsungs, LGs, HTCs, etc., they all use the Android operating system. Most of them have a skin over the top, which makes them look like their respective models. So a Samsung will look like a Samsung. If you've used a Sony before, you'll recognize that. With OnePlus, their skin over the top is called Oxygen OS. So it's very close to stock Android, but with just some minor tweaks there. And what makes this special is because it makes the phone future-proof. It means that updates for the system, whenever Google make them and they say, okay, here's an update for Android, it gets pushed to the OnePlus instantly, okay? Because they don't have to change very much. Whereas if there are a lot of features that you've built into your operating system, and you say, let's put this, and this in, all of a sudden when a new operating system comes out from Google, because let's say there was a security flaw, at that point it takes longer for them to actually tweak that software and push it out to your handset. So with having the Oxygen OS system, you can be sure that you're getting the updates pretty much as soon as they come out, which for me is really important. Okay guys, this one had to make the cut. Dash charge. Dash charge is quite possibly the best charging we have in the world at the moment. Okay, introduced again on the 3 and the 3T, it's back with a vengeance. You've got a special USB-C lead, it's thicker than others, which means it can provide a higher ampage, and the plug is where all the technology is held. What that helps then is to actually keep the phone cool while it's charging. Instead of having a processor that has to push higher voltage, the ampage is increased, so the load of electric is increased. It pushes more electric to the handset, and that's how it gets that faster charge. And what you're also going to find then as well is that your battery in the next year and a half, 2 years, is still going to be as good because it's not going to be damaged by having too high a current travel through it. Instead, it just charged faster, which is absolutely perfect. Dash it on. So, we're at number 5. Number 5 on my list has got to be the camera. So the camera on the 3 and 3T was very impressive. It was a 16 megapixel camera, and on the 3T they introduced a 16 megapixel camera on the front as well, which was absolutely phenomenal. Again, on the OnePlus 5 we've got a 16 on the front, one of the highest sensors on a mobile phone for your front-facing camera. And on the rear, we've got a dual system now, which we've seen in a couple of other handsets, like the iPhone 7 Plus, like the Huawei P10. Okay, so just to clear things up, the dual camera mode on the OnePlus 5 would be closer to the iPhone 7 Plus in how it works. It's not a black and white lens and a colour lens, instead it's a main lens and a secondary lens which allows it to improve its focus over distance. So what we've got with the camera mode on the OnePlus, like we do on the iPhone 7 Plus, which is easy to tell how the similarities are there, is when you tap the OnePlus there, you've got 1 times and 2 times, which is 1 time optical zoom and 2 time optical zoom. So what we mean by that is that it's able to see things at double the distance with pretty much the exact same clarity as what it had at its normal distance. As traditionally when we zoom in on a camera on a mobile phone, all we're doing is really cropping the image, and what we'll find then is that overall image of something zoomed in doesn't actually have the same level of detail as what it had before. So in comes the dual camera system. This is why it's important. We have a 16 megapixel camera and we have a 20 megapixel camera. The 16 being your primary sensor and the 20 being your secondary. Okay, so you've got this main sensor here and this is your backup one. It also allows a new feature called portrait mode as well, which we have seen in other phones as well. But what it does is it sets something in the foreground and says this is the main object of your photograph, and the secondary camera then looks at what the background is and how far away it is. And what you can get then is an artistic effect that blurs out that background to give you a really professional looking picture that gives the impression that it was taken on a DSLR, a digital camera of high quality that most photographers would use. So that's why I think one of the main features of the OnePlus 5 is the camera. It sets it apart, and so far we're actually seeing that reviewers are putting it as one of the best handsets in the world at the moment. So that's it from me, guys. Thanks very much. I'd love to stay in chat, but I must dash on. I must dash on, as in dash on, like dash on. No? Never mind, it's fine. Anyway, thanks very much guys, appreciate you watching the video. Enjoy the OnePlus 5 if you do get it, I hope you do. It's O2 exclusive and it's out now. It officially launches on the 27th, but it's out today. O2 have a 5-day world exclusive, a week until from the 22nd today. So it's in O2 stores, you can get it. Check it out, it's definitely worth it. Thanks a lot, dash on.